Tom Miller wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stared at the massive display screen in Deep Space Repair Station 7's control room. The red warning light had been flashing for the past minute, indicating an unscheduled arrival. That wasn't unusual. Broken ships didn't make appointments. What was unusual was the ship's signature. It wasn't human. Control, this is Lead Engineer Miller. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? He leaned closer to the screen, his coffee forgotten on the nearby console. Confirmed, sir, replied Jack from station control. It's definitely not one of ours. Signal pattern matches nothing in our database. The ship limped into view through the station's main observation window. It was beautiful, in a strange way, all curved lines and shimmering metal that seemed to change color as it moved. But even Tom's untrained eye could see it was in bad shape. The port side had massive damage, with debris trailing behind like a comet's tail. They're hailing us, Jack announced. Universal Translator is running. A voice crackled through the speakers, the translation following a second later. Human Repair Station. This is Captain Rel of the merchant vessel Light of Dawn. We have suffered critical damage. Requesting emergency docking clearance. Tom grabbed the mic. Captain Rel, this is Lead Engineer Miller. Be advised that we've never serviced a non-human vessel before. He paused, watching more debris float past. But you look like you need help bad. And that's what we do here. Sending docking coordinates now. The next hour was organized chaos. Tom assembled his best team. Mike from Structural, Linda from Systems, and Pete from Power Management. They gathered every scanning tool the station had while the damaged ship carefully maneuvered into the main repair bay. When the airlock cycled, Tom got his first look at an alien. Captain Rel stood nearly 7 feet tall, with metallic-looking skin and 4 arms. But what caught Tom's attention was the captain's expression. Worry looked the same on any face, it seemed. Engineer Miller, Rel's translator crackled. We hit an uncharted asteroid field. Our advanced navigation systems failed, and the alien captain gestured at the ship with 2 of his arms. We tried 3 repair stations before yours. None could help. They said the damage was too severe, that the systems were too degraded to interface with their automated repair units. Tom walked around the ship's damaged section, his experienced eyes taking in the destruction. The whole material was like nothing he'd ever seen, and glimpses of the internal systems through the gashes showed technology far beyond Earth's current capabilities. But underneath all that advanced tech, he could see the basics. Power conduits, structural supports, system interfaces. Captain, Tom said slowly, I won't lie to you. I don't fully understand how your ship works. But I've been fixing things my whole life. Started with my dad's old truck when I was 12, moved up to fusion reactors, and now space stations. He tapped the hull with his wrench. At the core, it's all about understanding what something is supposed to do and figuring out how to make it do that again. Sometimes that means following the manual. Sometimes it means making something new. Rel's metallic face shifted in what might have been confusion. You do not use automated repair systems. Tom laughed. Oh, we use them when they help. But machines can only fix what they're programmed to fix. Humans, we fix what's in front of us, whether we've seen it before or not. He turned to his team. Mike, get me a structural analysis. Linda, start mapping those system pathways. Pete, let's figure out what kind of power we're dealing with here. Captain Rel, if you could have your engineer share the basic safety protocols for your systems, we'll get started. As his team spread out around the ship, Tom saw the doubt in the alien captain's posture fade slightly. He understood why. To advanced alien eyes, humans must seem primitive. Their repair stations were more workshop than automated facility, their tools simple compared to other species. But Tom knew that humanity's greatest tool had always been their ability to understand, adapt, and overcome. He grabbed his tablet and toolkit. It was time to prove that sometimes the old ways were the best ways. 3 hours into the repair work, Tom Miller stood in front of a holographic display of the alien ship's damaged systems. His team had spread parts across the repair bay floor, carefully labeled and organized. Captain Rel's engineer, Box, watched nervously as the humans handled technology worth more than their entire station. "Your power routing is amazing," Tom said, pointing to a crystalline structure that glowed faintly. "But see this crack here? It's disrupting the whole flow pattern." Box's translator crackled. "Correct. The standard procedure requires a complete replacement unit. Without one, the ship can't." "Who says we need to replace it?" Tom interrupted, pulling out his tablet. "Mike, remember that crystal welding technique we developed for the mining ship's sensor arrays?" Mike looked up from where he was examining the hull damage. "The one where we use ultrasonic vibrations to match the crystal structure. Could work, but this is way more complex than anything we've tried before." Linda joined them, carrying a device she had cobbled together from 3 different tools. "I modified our crystal scanner to read their power signatures. If we can match the frequency." Box's eyes widened, all 6 of them. "Impossible. The crystal matrix is quantum aligned. Our finest automated systems cannot repair such damage." Tom smiled. "That's because your systems are trying to make it perfect. We're just trying to make it work." He turned to his team. "Linda, get me those frequency readings. Pete, rig up the sonic welder with Linda's modifications. Mike, we need a containment field. Don't want any quantum whatever spilling out if we mess up." The next 2 hours were intense. Tom's hand stayed steady as he guided the modified welder along the crystal's fracture lines. He didn't follow any manual or program. He followed the natural patterns in the crystal, letting years of experience guide him. The crack slowly disappeared, the crystal's glow strengthening and stabilizing. "Power flow at 89.2% of optimal," Box announced, surprise evident in his voice. This should not be possible with your level of technology." "That's because we're not using just technology," Tom explained, wiping his hands on a rag. "We're using experience. Every broken thing teaches you something new, if you're willing to learn." But the crystal was just the start. The hull damage revealed more challenges. The alien metal had properties that made standard welding impossible. Tom found the answer in an old technique his grandfather had taught him for working with difficult metals: heat the surrounding area, not just the weld point. With some modifications to their equipment and careful temperature control, they made it work. The biggest surprise came when they reached the navigation systems. The advanced AI that controlled it had been partially corrupted in the accident. The alien engineers considered this a total loss. AIs this complex couldn't be repaired, only replaced. "Watch this," Linda said, now fully confident in their unconventional approaches. She had spent the last hour writing a simple program that could bypass the damaged sections, creating a basic but functional navigation system. "It won't be as smart as before, but it'll get you home." Captain Rel stood in the control room, watching as systems came back online one by one. Our own repair stations said these fixes were impossible. They insisted on full replacements, which would have taken months to acquire. Tom shrugged. "Sometimes the best solution isn't the fanciest one. Humans learn to fix things by fixing things, all kinds of things with whatever we had on hand. Makes us think differently about problems." As if to prove his point, Pete emerged from a maintenance tunnel, covered in grease but grinning. He'd managed to improve the power efficiency of the repaired crystal by 5% simply by adjusting the surrounding power conduits by hand, something the automated systems would never have tried. "We'll need about 6 more hours to button everything up," Tom said. "But you'll be space-worthy by then. Not factory new, maybe, but solid. And sometimes, the repairs that show are the ones that have the best stories behind them." Captain Rel looked at his ship, then at the human repair team. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "there is more to learn from Earth's repair methods than we thought." Station manager Kate Anderson stared at her display screen in disbelief. In the month since they'd repaired Captain Rel's ship, the number of alien vessels requesting their services had tripled. Right now, 4 different alien ships were waiting in the queue, and more were sending requests every day. Tom, she called out to her lead engineer, who was reviewing repair logs at a nearby console. Did you know Captain Rel posted a detailed review of our repair work on the Galactic Commerce Network? Tom looked up from his work. That explains the traffic. What did he say? Kate read from the screen. Human repair methods defy conventional wisdom. While their technology appears primitive, their problem-solving abilities are unmatched. Deep Space Repair Station 7 fixed damage that 3 premier automated facilities declared irreparable. She smiled. He gave us their equivalent of 5 stars. Before Tom could respond, Jack's voice came over the intercom. Manager Anderson, we got another arrival. Trade ship from the Proxima Alliance. Their main computer is glitching, and they're trailing plasma from their engine housing. Direct them to Bay 3, Tom said, already heading for the door. And get Linda up here. She's the best with computer systems. The new ship was smaller than Captain Rel's had been, but its design was even more alien. Instead of metal, its hull seemed to be made of some kind of grown crystal. Its captain, a being that looked like a floating collection of light points, spoke through a more advanced translator. We diverted 300 light years to reach this station. The captain's lights pulsed as they spoke. The stories of your repair abilities have spread quickly. Tom's team got to work, but this time they had help. Box, Captain Rel's engineer, had decided to stay behind at the station as a cultural exchange technician. His knowledge of alien technology combined with the humans' creative repair approaches was proving to be an unbeatable combination. See this pattern? Box pointed to the ship's computer display. It's similar to the quantum matrix we repaired last month, but the crystalline structure is different. Linda nodded, already adapting her repair program. The principles should be the same, though. If we can isolate the corrupted sections, her fingers flew over the keyboard, writing code that combined human programming basics with alien quantum computing. In the engine section, Tom and Mike faced a different challenge. The plasma leak was coming from what looked like living crystal, something they'd never encountered before. It's not actually alive, Box explained, but it responds to energy patterns like a living thing. Our automated repair systems use very specific energy signatures to reshape it. Tom thought for a moment, then grinned. Living crystal, huh? Mike, remember that ultrasonic harmonics project you were working on last year? The one that made plants grow faster. Mike's eyes lit up. If we modify the frequency. He rushed off to get his equipment. Word of their successes continued to spread. By the end of the week, they had repair requests from 12 different alien species. Some ships traveled far off their normal routes just to reach Station 7. Kate called an emergency staff meeting. We need to expand, she announced to her team. I've already contacted Earth Central. They're fast-tracking our request for additional bays and equipment. We'll need more engineers too, Tom added. But we need to be careful. It's not just about knowing the technology. Our success comes from how we think about repairs. Box's metallic skin shimmered in agreement. This is why I chose to stay. Your people see problems differently. You do not just follow procedures. You understand why those procedures exist and when they need to change. As if to emphasize his point, a cheer went up from Bay 3. Linda had successfully merged human and alien code to create something entirely new, a hybrid system that was actually more stable than the original. We'll need to start a training program, Kate decided, not just for human engineers, but for alien technicians who want to learn our methods. This could be the beginning of a whole new era in space repair work. Tom watched through the observation window as another alien ship approached the station. Who would have thought? He mused. Turns out humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy would be our ability to fix things. The alert klaxon woke Tom from a dead sleep. He was out of his bunk and halfway to the control room before he even registered the sound's meaning. Priority 1 emergency. Talk to me, Jack. He called out as he ran into the control room. The main screen showed a massive warship, easily 5 times the size of anything they'd serviced before. Its sleek hull glowed with a strange purple light. "Military vessel from the Centauri Federation," Jack reported, his voice tense. "They're broadcasting a critical failure warning. Sir, their quantum drive is destabilizing." Kate burst into the room, still pulling on her uniform jacket. "How bad?" "Bad," Box answered from his station, all 6 eyes focused on the readings. "If that drive fails, it'll take out everything within 50,000 kilometers, including us." The ship's commander appeared on their screen. His holographic image flickered with static, but they could see the concern on his crystalline face. "This is Commander Brightpath of the Federation vessel Starbreaker. Our quantum drive suffered damage in a battle with pirates. We diverted here based on recent repair reports, but our engineers say we have less than 3 hours before total failure." Tom felt the weight of thousands of lives on his shoulders. "Commander, request permission to board. We need to see what we're dealing with." Minutes later, Tom, Linda, and Box were being escorted through corridors that dwarfed their station's hallways. The ship's chief engineer, a tall crystalline being named Clear Thought, led them to the drive section. "Our quantum drive is experimental," Clear Thought explained. "It uses nested fields of quantum probability to achieve faster-than-light travel. The pirate attack damaged the containment systems. The fields are collapsing into each other." They entered the drive room, and Tom's breath caught in his throat. The engine core was beautiful, a massive crystalline structure suspended in energy fields, swirling with colors he'd never seen before. But even he could see it was wrong. The colors were shifting too fast, the patterns chaotic. "Standard procedure would be to eject the core," Clear Thought said. "But we're too close to populated areas, and the backup drive isn't powerful enough to get us to a safe distance in time." Linda was already scanning the systems with their modified equipment. "The containment fields are operating on quantum principles we've never seen before. This is way beyond anything we've worked with." Tom watched the swirling patterns in the core. Something about them seemed familiar. "Box, remember that crystal repair we did last month? How the quantum alignments looked like wave patterns?" Box's metallic skin rippled with understanding. "Yes, and the living crystal engine from the Proxima ship. It responded to harmonic frequencies." Clear Thought. Tom turned to the ship's engineer. "Your containment fields. They're quantum-based, but they're still energy fields, right? They follow wave patterns." "Correct, but—" "Linda," Tom interrupted, "remember how we modify our sonic welders to repair quantum crystal matrices? What if we did the same thing here, but bigger? Much bigger?" Linda's eyes widened. "Use harmonic frequencies to stabilize the quantum fields. That's crazy enough to work, but we'd need enormous power." "Commander," Tom called over the comm, "we need to link your ship's power systems to our portable generators. All of them. And I need every sonic welder and quantum scanner we have on the station brought over immediately." The next 2 hours were a blur of activity. They converted the ship's cargo bay into a makeshift repair center. Linda and Box worked with Clear Thought to map the quantum field patterns, while Tom and Mike modified their equipment to handle the massive power load. "This is highly irregular," Clear Thought observed as they made final preparations. "No standard procedure exists for this type of repair." Tom smiled grimly as he calibrated the modified sonic array. "Welcome to human repair methods. Sometimes the best solutions are the ones nobody's tried before." The entire ship vibrated as they activated their jury-rigged system. Waves of energy pulsed from the modified welders, carefully tuned to match and reinforce the failing containment fields. On the monitors, the chaotic patterns in the drive core slowly began to stabilize. "It's working," Linda whispered, watching the readings. "The quantum fields are rebalancing themselves." Tom watched as the core's colors settled into a steady, peaceful swirl. They'd done it, saved the ship, the station, and countless lives. And they'd done it the human way. with creativity, courage, and just a touch of crazy. 3 days after saving the Federation warship, Deep Space Repair Station 7 was busier than ever. The story of how a human repair team had fixed an unfixable quantum drive had spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Now their repair bays were full, and more ships arrived every day. Tom sat in the station's newly expanded break room, drinking coffee with Box and Clear Thought, who had decided to stay and learn more about human repair methods. The crystalline engineer had been fascinated by their unconventional approach to the quantum drive crisis. "I still don't understand," Clear Thought said, his crystalline form catching the light. "How did you know the harmonic frequencies would work?" Tom smiled. "We didn't, but we understood the basic principles from our previous repairs. Sometimes you have to trust your experience and take a calculated risk." Their conversation was interrupted by Jack's voice over the intercom. "Tom, we've got a situation in Bay 4. The new repair team is stuck." In Bay 4, they found a group of human engineers standing around a damaged alien mining vessel. The ship's outer hull was made of a strange, almost organic material that seemed to resist all their usual repair methods. "We've tried everything in the manual," said Bill, one of the new engineers. "Even the techniques that worked on the crystal ships aren't helping. This material just won't cooperate." Tom watched as Box touched the hull, his metallic fingers sensing things human hands couldn't detect. "This is biomechanical composite," Box explained. "It's supposed to heal itself, but the damage was too severe. The healing process has stopped halfway." Clear Thought's crystalline form flickered with interest. "On my world, we would replace the entire section. There is no approved procedure for repairing failed biomechanical healing." Tom walked around the damaged area, thinking, "You know what this reminds me of? That time we had to repair Farmer John's greenhouse after the storm. Remember, Linda? The plants were damaged, but still alive." Linda's eyes lit up. "The nutrient spray. We modified it to speed up plant growth and healing." She turned to Box. "What if we could do something similar here? Give the whole material what it needs to complete its natural healing process." The next few hours were a flurry of activity. Linda and Clear Thought analyzed the hull's molecular structure, while Tom and Box worked on modifying their equipment. They combined human agricultural technology with alien biomechanical principles in ways neither species had considered before. "It's like making super fertilizer for a spaceship," Tom explained to the watching engineers. "We're not forcing the repair, we're helping the hull remember how to heal itself." Their first attempt failed spectacularly, creating a small bubble of runaway growth that had to be quickly cut away. But Tom's team didn't get discouraged. They adjusted their formula, refined their application method, and tried again. "See how the edges are starting to crawl together?" Linda pointed at the hull. "The biological components are reactivating." Slowly but surely, the damaged section began to heal. The alien material responded to their modified treatment, knitting itself back together in a way that amazed even Box and Clear Thought. "This is why I stayed," Box said, watching the repair progress. "Humans don't just fix things, they understand them. They see connections that our automated systems would never consider." By the end of the day, the mining vessel's hull was fully repaired. The new technique was faster and more efficient than replacing the entire section, and the repair was actually stronger than the original material. "We need to document this," Clear Thought said excitedly. "This could revolutionize biomechanical repairs across the galaxy." Tom looked around at his team, humans and aliens working together, sharing knowledge, solving problems in new ways. "That's the real secret of human repair work," he said. "We never stop learning, never stop trying new things. Every repair teaches us something, and every failure just gives us more ideas to work with." The station's computer chimed with another repair request coming in. Tom smiled. They were ready for whatever challenge came next, because they had something better than advanced technology. They had innovation, creativity, and the courage to try the impossible. Kate Anderson stood in the station's new observation dome, watching the steady stream of ships arriving and departing. 6 months had passed since they'd saved the Federation warship, and Deep Space Repair Station 7 had grown to 3 times its original size. But something about their latest visitor had made her call an emergency meeting. "A historian?" Tom asked, looking around at the gathered team. "That's a first." The visitor in question sat at the conference table, a tall, ethereal being named Scholar Deep Knowledge, whose form shifted like smoke in a glass container. The alien historian had spent the last week observing their repair operations. "I believe I have discovered why human repair techniques are so unique in the galaxy," Deep Knowledge began, its form swirling with excitement. "It lies in your species' unusual technological development path." Box and Clear Thought leaned forward, interested. They had become permanent members of the station's staff, bridging the gap between human and alien repair methods. "Most advanced species," Deep Knowledge continued, "develop their technology in an orderly, systematic way. Each discovery built carefully on the last, creating perfect, standardized systems." The historian's form rippled. "But humans, your development was chaos." "Thanks, I think," Tom said, scratching his head. "No, you don't understand. This chaos was your greatest advantage." Deep Knowledge's form brightened. While other species were perfecting single solutions, humans were trying hundreds of different approaches. When something broke, you didn't wait for the perfect replacement. You found ways to fix it with whatever you had. Linda nodded slowly. "Like when we used farm technology to repair that biomechanical hull last month. We're used to combining different ideas because that's how we learned everything." "Exactly." The historian projected images into the air, Earth vehicles from different eras, all repaired and modified in creative ways. "Look at your history. Cars repaired with household items. Computers modified with parts they weren't designed for. Spaceships built from repurposed rocket technology. Every repair was a lesson in adaptation." Tom thought about his grandfather's old workshop, filled with modified tools and creative solutions. "We never had the luxury of waiting for the perfect part or the right tool. We had to work with what we had." Other species see a broken quantum drive and think it needs factory-approved quantum parts, Box added, his metallic skin shimmering with understanding. "Humans see it and think about sound waves and crystal harmonics." Deep Knowledge's form pulsed with excitement. "Your repair stations succeed because they approach problems differently. You don't just fix the damage. You understand the underlying principles and find new ways to apply them." Clear Thought's crystalline form sparkled. "That's why our automated systems often fail where humans succeed. The systems can only follow their programming, but humans can imagine new solutions." Kate watched through the window as a team of human and alien engineers worked together on a complicated repair. The humans were teaching their alien colleagues how to think creatively about problems, while the aliens shared their deep knowledge of advanced technology. "It's not just about fixing ships anymore," she realized. "We're teaching each other new ways to think about technology itself." "Precisely," Deep Knowledge exclaimed. "This is why I came here. This cultural exchange could revolutionize repair technology across the galaxy. The combination of human creativity with alien advanced technology creates possibilities neither side imagined before." Tom smiled as he watched his team work. In one repair bay, Linda was showing alien engineers how to repurpose common tools for unusual repairs. In another, Box was teaching humans about quantum mechanics using everyday examples they could understand. "Maybe that's the real story here," Tom said thoughtfully. "It's not just that we're good at repairs. It's that our whole history of fixing things, of making do with what we had, prepared us to help the galaxy in ways we never expected." Deep Knowledge's form settled into a peaceful swirl. "Sometimes the most important discoveries come from the most unexpected places, or in this case, from a species that turned chaos and necessity into an art form." Through the window, another alien ship approached the station, seeking help. But now they knew they could offer something more than just repairs. They could offer a whole new way of solving problems. 1 year after the quantum drive incident, Tom stood at the window of his new office in Deep Space Repair Station 7's training center. Below him, dozens of repair bays buzzed with activity. Human engineers worked alongside aliens from 20 different species, sharing knowledge and solving problems together. "Ready for your first graduation ceremony?" Kate asked, entering the office with a stack of certificates. Each one was written in both Earth Standard and Galactic Common. "Hard to believe we've come this far," Tom replied, adjusting his formal uniform. "Remember when we thought fixing Captain Rel's ship was a big deal?" The station's main assembly hall was packed with beings of all shapes and sizes. The first class of the Human Repair Methods training program was about to graduate. Among them was a familiar crystalline form, Clear Thought, who had gone from skeptical visitor to one of their most enthusiastic students. "When I first arrived here," Clear Thought addressed the crowd, his crystal form glowing with excitement, "I thought human repair methods were primitive. Now I understand they are revolutionary. We had become so focused on perfect solutions that we forgot the art of practical problem solving." Box, now the head of alien-human integration, nodded in agreement. His metallic skin had been modified with human-style tool attachments. "Each graduate here represents a bridge between two approaches to technology. The precision of alien engineering combined with the creativity of human repairs." The graduates had already proved their worth. Last week, a team of human and alien engineers had developed a new repair technique that combined Earth-style welding with quantum field manipulation. The result was faster and stronger than either method alone. Linda, who had become the station's chief of innovation, stepped up to the podium. "Today's ceremony isn't just about repair certificates. It's about changing how we think about problems. Each of you will take these methods back to your home worlds, spreading a new way of approaching challenges." Tom watched as each graduate received their certificate. He remembered how each of them had struggled at first with the human way of doing things. Aliens used to perfect, automated systems had been baffled by the human insistence on understanding every repair personally. "But that's what makes it work," he whispered to Kate. "We're not teaching them just to fix things. We're teaching them to think differently about what's possible." The ceremony was interrupted by an emergency call. A passenger liner had suffered multiple system failures and was limping toward the station. Tom smiled as he watched his graduates spring into action without hesitation. "Control room," one of the alien graduates called out, their tentacles moving quickly over the diagnostic panel. "I'm seeing pattern similarities to that mining vessel we repaired last month." "Agreed," another graduate chimed in, their crystalline form glowing. "But we could modify that solution using the new quantum welding technique." Tom watched with pride as human and alien engineers worked seamlessly together, combining different repair methods in ways neither species would have considered a year ago. The passenger liner was back in service in record time, its systems running better than before. Later that evening, as the celebration wound down, Tom found himself back at his office window. The repair bays below were still busy. Space didn't care about office hours after all. "Thinking deep thoughts?" Kate asked, joining him. "Just remembering what my grandfather used to say," Tom replied. "He always told me that understanding how to fix something was just as important as knowing how to build it." Turns out that was true on a galactic scale. Through the window, they could see a new batch of students arriving, more aliens eager to learn the human way of repairs. Among them were species that had once looked down on Earth's technology as primitive. "We're not just fixing ships anymore," Kate said softly. "We're fixing how the galaxy thinks about problem solving." Not bad for a bunch of humans who learned by tinkering in their garages. Tom smiled as he watched a human engineer showing an alien student how to repurpose a simple tool for a complex repair. The student's eyes widened with understanding. Another small moment in the growing partnership between human creativity and alien technology. "That's the real repair we made," Tom said. "We fixed the gap between their way and ours. And now we're building something new together."